Okay. Hi everyone, this is our body strengthening and balance. Okay, so we're about 20 minutes into the class. I did forget to hit the record button, so I apologize. You folks that are watching this on video just missed part of the warm-up because we're still not done. Usually our warm-up for this class is a little bit longer, but thank you, Susan. I do appreciate that. It's first day of school, so some of my gears need WD-40 right now. So. All right, so we're gonna go with slow high knee march. So if you guys remember those? I feel like I do this like once a month. I forget to hit the record button. But thanks, Susan. All right, so slow high knee march. So again, just dragging that knee as high as we can forward, and then alternating. And the slower we're doing it, the more we're working on balance. Okay. So this is definitely not a speedy one. So we're going to do 10 on each leg. That's 7 right now. Two more. Last one. All right, very good. So these are some light balance ones that aren't too demanding. This one's more of a strengthening exercise than balance. So it is some balance too. So this is a standing Jane Fonda. So we're gonna be moving our right leg laterally. So laterally away from the body. So then turning it back in. And if we could do this by keeping our torso as upright as we can, what we don't want to do is this here. Okay, we're just gonna stay upright. We're doing 10 of these. Again, slower is better. All right, we can switch. So you'll feel with these Jane Fondas, you'll feel that leg that's static. It's just holding you up, keeping you upright. That leg is also working quite a bit. Three more. 2, 1. Last one. All right. Very good. Okay. Standing Jane Fondas. Okay, this one, if you want to grab your yoga mat, I'm barefoot right now, so the hardwood could be a little bit firm on my heels. So I'm gonna grab my yoga mat. You guys can do the same if you like. Let me just check the chat real quick. Okay, so Christine's asking where can you get the cheap weights from? So where I've seen them, it depends. If you are, so now if you go to, because it was a challenge just to find it at Big Five or at Target or at Costco. If you're looking for just one set of dumbbells, I would recommend maybe Marshalls or Ross. If you're looking for more of a long range, like this tower that I have here, this one's closer to about $250 or $300. I know it's pricey, but last year people were reselling these for about $600 or $700. So these, I've seen them at almost every Costco that I go to now. So it just depends. So, you know, I say so. well, I'll continue talking as we're doing this movement. So this one's just heel to toe. So this one, we're just going to be rocking back and forth. So just heels, toes, just going back and forth for about 20 seconds. This is working our calves and our anterior tibialis. So yeah, so it just depends, Christine. If you are looking for something more beginner, maybe like the 5 pounds or 8 pounds, yeah, you might just luck out at Ross or at Marshall's, sometimes Home Goods. But yeah, if you're looking for something a little bit more, you know, more of a range, then I'd say Costco would probably be your best bet. Also, there's resistance bands that you could use instead of dumbbells, and the resistance bands are a lot cheaper. So the resistance bands I found on Amazon, anywhere between $15 to about $30. And okay, very good. And yeah, since you're new and everyone else has probably heard the story, last semester I was doing a workout with the $15 rubber bands or the resistance bands, and those cheaper ones, the doorknob handle, so you could attach it to your door edge or hinge, and it became undone and it hit me real hard on the back of my back. So yeah, so I guess paying an extra $5, you know, might be worth it sometimes. So yeah, so I had this big old welt on my back. So yeah, but we could use resistance bands too for certain things. But I like dumbbells too if you could invest into, you know, maybe an 8 pounds. I'd say 8 pounds would be good. Okay, we're gonna be doing walking the tightrope. So this is pretty much what, you know, what police officers do in a sobriety check. So that's what I would, I guess, stimulate it. So make sure that your feet aren't touching each other as you're moving forward or backwards. Okay, so there's about an inch gap between each step. And folks with high arches might have a little bit more trouble with this one. I'm flat-footed, just like a duck. So I have more surface area. So this is one positive thing about being flat-footed. Flat-footed is that there's more surface area, so you know, I'm be a little stable. Okay, there you go. Sounds very light. Let me see. Oh, okay, 5 below. Great, yeah. And like I said, I don't think we do any movements. If we're gonna do heavy movements, it's going to be when we do big leg exercises. But what I recommend too is, you know, sometimes a water gallon could cost you, you know, a water gallon's $1 at Target, right? $1 at Walmart. You could get a kettlebell for 12 or 15 pounds, and that's gonna run you $20. And essentially, you could do the same thing with either one. So if you're looking for something a little bit bulkier, you know, for this class, when we're doing deep squats or sumo squats, you could get a water gallon, fill it up with water. You can even fill it up with sand, or you could do a detergent container as well too. So you don't have to get a metal weight. It could be something a different sort. Okay, and then the last one before we start with the actual workout is going to be, these are just toe taps. So remember, we're in the center of a clock, and just lightly, we're going to tap at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and back. Okay, so we're going to do 3 full circles, and we're just tapping right now. We're not doing the squats. Okay, we're just tapping. This is a little bit of mobility and balance. Yeah, very good. All right, left leg. So now we're doing counterclockwise. Yeah, I've seen people create their own barbells. You know, they use a bucket, a pink bucket, fill it up with cement, and then they'll use that as a weight. So it's a lot cheaper than buying something You know, and the thing is, the sad part is that sometimes, all right, very good. Now again, I apologize for I'm rambling, but sometimes you might go buy a 20-pound dumbbell and you put it on a scale, and that thing might weigh 18 pounds. It might weigh 22 pounds. It's not always accurate. So, yeah, but you know, it has a nice handle, so that's why people like those objects. All right, very good. Okay, so that being said, we're gonna start off with the, grab your chair. We're gonna do a little bit of chair mobility. Okay, so this is one that I haven't done since we last did it together. So we're gonna go perform a stretch here, and then let's push down on that knee and lean towards it. Yeah, before I could get down to it, and I've already lost that range of motion. It's been 2 weeks, and this is as well as I could go right now. So, yeah, if you don't use it, you lose it for sure. Usually I have my chest on my knee for this one, but I can't. If you can't reach, you can always push down on that knee. Make sure you're breathing. The more you relax, the more those muscles expand, contract easily. All right, let's bring that knee up to that chest. So now we're gonna hug it out. So that stretch here, that third one is. You have really tight hamstrings. This is one that can help. Switch. It's a little bit better here. Go a little lower. You'll notice that sometimes that one side of your body or could be a little bit more flexible than the other, or at least at a limb. All right, let's hug it out. Let's bring that knee to your chest. Stretch. Relax. Do some hip openers. Here in this position, this is going to keep our hips fixed. So we just go out, in. We'll do 8 of these. Grab that side. Trying to remember who's been with me the longest of everyone at this class. Has anyone, you guys have been here since 2020? Cherise and Debbie? I remember Ella from like last summer, last fall. I remember some of you guys from last fall. But yeah, that was definitely in the summer. Okay. And then, all right, now we're gonna go ahead and do, back up. just gonna do calf raises from here. So we're just gonna go up, hold for about 3 seconds and down. Yeah, because last spring of 2020, all my in-person classes went to Zoom, and sometimes I had one student that would come live. So it's just one individual and myself. Hey, Moravia, it's back. So yeah, so that was, imagine it was just like, it could be Debbie and myself just on the screen, or Charisse and myself. And yeah, so, but what was neat about that is that that one individual did have a lot of questions. So, you know, I know it's just her and I. So yeah, so she got a bunch of answers. So, hey, Moravia.
Hi, sorry I was late. I was in Lisa's class.
No worries. All right, now let's bring our toes up to the sky, and you should feel the stretch on that shin muscle, that anterior tibialis. So keeping your heels flat, just raising those toes towards the sky. Does anyone have ankle weights? Okay.
I do. Melina does.
So if you guys have ankle weights, and then they're nearby, this next one would be a good one for you. If you're gonna grab those ankle weights, and if you guys have resistance bands, like the loop resistance bands, you can actually benefit from this one. So let me find them. So you're gonna have 3 different movements here, okay? So if you don't have any ankle weights or resistance bands, what I want you to do is to lay flat, keep that leg straight, and we're gonna elevate it up and down, okay? If you have resistance bands, put them around those ankles, and we're gonna be doing leg extensions. And if you have these loops, what I want you to do is grab. And then, Christine, this is another set of bands. So these are 5 bands, 5 different resistance bands. You can put these around your leg. These are only $12, and I've had these for almost 1.5 years now. They worked out great. So I think the red one's been a little bit worn down because they use it often for warm-ups, but it's been pretty good. So, okay, so if you have the resistance bands, you're pretty much just putting it around your ankles and extending.
Oh, where can I get the resistance bands from?
These I got on Amazon.
On Amazon? Oh, okay.
These were $12. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so these
That's
are very cheap and they're very handy.
I got some for like $5 or $6 at TJ Maxx.
Whoa,
Yeah, and Marshall's had them for about that
Marshall's.
price too.
oh wow. Good to know. Thank
Okay.
you.
just ignore me. The ladies have the better spots. Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you all very much.
So yeah, so again, if you guys have a band that's very tense, just do 8 to 10 of these. And if it's very light, or your ankle weights are very light, give me about 18 to 20 of these. Okay. And switch. All right, now we're gonna go with the left leg and start here. So again, this is more of a strength and conditioning concept, but it applies to all strengthening. If you are trying to develop muscle endurance, which is, you know, the longer for your body to get tired or fatigued, if you notice that after maybe, you know, maybe carrying the bags in the grocery store from your car to the, or from the store to your car, you get tired and you want to work out your arms a little bit longer, then you might want to do more repetitions with the lighter weight. But if you want to be, you know, maybe you lift heavy objects at home at one solid motion, then to develop that strength, muscle endurance isn't really a component of that. It's more of a power strength. So for that, you want to be lifting something heavier for about 5 to 8 repetitions. So And if you follow a program of that concept, you usually see folks that lift very heavy, look, not that you guys are gonna look like bodybuilders, but it's that bulkier look. And people that focus more on muscle endurance have more of a thinner and very, they call it shredded look, where you can see almost every definition of the muscle. So that's the difference. But yeah, so that's when it comes into play with, you know, how many repetitions should I do or not. So, all right. And then, so now we're going to go ahead. If you have your small rag that I asked you guys to get, go ahead and grab that. I missed my giant breakfast this morning of 8 eggs and a bowl of oatmeal, so I had to swap it for my protein shake and have a large breakfast afterwards. So, okay, so this is one, and it was kind of neat. Actually, this weekend, I follow a couple of chiropractors on Instagram, and one of them posted on his story this very exercise as far as treating plantar fasciitis or some you know, strains on the tendons on the arch. So I'm glad that you know, this is one that I learned about 8-9 years ago, and it's fairly used now still at chiropractor offices. So you're gonna lay that towel flat, and then with your toes you're gonna grip it, you're gonna drop it, and then you're gonna try to set it back to its original state. Okay, then you're gonna grip, drop, ground. So if you happen to go to the Orange County Fair or to Disneyland or just to the beach and walk the lot, and your feet are tense and tender the next day, or maybe you're chasing around your grandkid or wearing high heels or whatever it is, if your arches or your heels are irritating you, this is one that you definitely want to do to make that feel better. And when you grip it, try to grip it with all your might too. So gripping that, drop it, separate it. And again, if you have similar pain like this, but on your wrist or on your fingers, you could do the same component, but you could grab, I'm gonna switch feet now. But what you would do is fill up a bucket of sand or a bucket with rice and do the same idea, kind of squeeze your fingers in that bucket, come back. I know my old boss at the physical therapy office, she had a bucket of rice next to her computer because she would do that after a long day on the desk. So if you work from home a lot on the typing, keyboard, I don't know if you play the guitar, you play a lot of video games, anything that you're using your fingers a lot, this is one. And you might notice, like I noticed my left arches are weaker. I don't have that same grip as my right one. So it's definitely a dominance thing. All right, very good. And the last one that we're gonna do for our feet, if you could grab a golf ball or a tennis ball. I've used the potato before, or don't eat it afterwards, but yeah, if you guys have one of those objects, golf ball around here. I have to resort to the potato. Where is it? Okay. See, this is another expensive tool that you could go without. This is like a therapeutic physical therapy ball. This was, I think, I mean, it's just a ball. I think it was $25, and it does the same thing a tennis ball does. So, you know, you don't have to buy something like this. That's what I'm trying to get at. I only got this because at a store I used to work at, the company would come and supply the employees with, you know, free items so they could sell them. But I'd always be like, don't buy it. You know, just save your money. Go find a golf ball at the golf course or something. So, all right. So yeah, just grab that and then just kind of roll back and forth. So, but this one, like this size would be good if you have like a tense muscle on your mid back or something. A tennis ball wouldn't get that. This ball probably would, but yeah. But if you're just trying to use this for a certain movement like your arches, then you could be fine with something smaller. All right, and once you found the spot that's a little bit tender, push down on it. Yeah, there's so many different ways to save your money and, you know, still get away with doing a lot of these stretches or lifts. And switch. And sometimes you don't even have to be a monetary gain. It could be a health benefit too. Like if you, I think I've mentioned turmeric before. Like turmeric is a natural anti-inflammatory. Ibuprofen is an anti-inflammatory, but it's not natural. But it's very damaging on your liver. You know, beats it up a little bit. So yeah, so just find different alternatives that could be, you know, with proven benefits too. You know, because you see a lot of things with a bunch of asterisks at the end, and unless you could vouch for it, you know, be cautious sometimes. But turmeric has helped me. Once you find that tender spot, let's push down on it. Like I said, this week we're going a little bit lighter. So next one we'll see some lower body strengthening and then some balance work. Okay. And remember, most of the strengthening stuff, we also do hit tomorrow on the strength and conditioning class. So. All right. Okay, so if you guys have dumbbells, go ahead and grab those. If you don't have a dumbbell, maybe you could find a couple of heavy books around the house. Maybe you could find a water gallon. You could find some containers, some detergent bottle, a big heavy container. Okay. All right. So I'm going to use this 10-pound dumbbell that I have here, and we're going to do 3-way lunges. Okay. So 3-way lunges. I'm going to do my right leg first. Okay, so we're going to go lunge forward, lunge to the side. Make sure your hips come down low, and then lunge back. Okay, so that's one. So the most challenging one is typically the side one. You have to make sure you're just not here. You want to make sure you drop your hips. Okay. All right. Ready? We'll do 4 more on that leg. Okay, go. So forward, right, and back. Forward, right, back. 3. 4. I think a couple people missed the first one, so we'll do 6 if you started along with me. Cool. You can tell This one does demand some balance too. All right, very good. I'm in a small area, so I have to shift to the other side of the room when I switch legs. All right, now we're gonna go left leg. Heart rate's up. Okay, go. So left leg forward. Leg down, make sure you come down. And back. 1. 6 total, keep it even. When in doubt and you miscount, oh, I just need a rank. Just go for the higher number. I know that doesn't rhyme, but yeah, just go for the higher count. So if you're like, oh, am I at 6 or at 5? Just assume that you're at 5 so you could get more done. See, like right now, I just forgot what number I'm at, so I'm gonna assume we have one more. If you guys that are counting, I'm sorry. But when in doubt, I forgot to rank. Okay, good. All right, so that's the 3-way lunge. That's a big movement. You guys have to remember too, that anytime we work out forward or backward movements, we also want to work out a lateral movement, side to side. Okay, all right. Whew. Okay, so we're gonna go with easy balance movement here. There's the tandem stance. Tandem stance, or is it Romberg? I forget, I have to look them over. Okay, so we're gonna be standing Romberg stance, feet right next to each other. And we're just standing here. About 20 seconds. It could be fairly easy for some or challenging for others. Now we're gonna look left to right. Left, right. So all these variations we're doing, hopefully, if they have great balance, then they won't trigger anything. But if you do have some poor balance in, different aspects of your surface area right now, these little variations will catch some of that. Now up and down. And now we're gonna close our eyes. So again, if you feel like you're falling, just separate your legs, increase your surface area. But let's close our eyes and stand here for about 20 seconds. Very good. Let's open those eyes. Let's grab that small rag we were using earlier. Pull it up a few times. Pretty thin, so I want to make sure that it does make the surface a little awkward for me. Okay, otherwise, I have it right in the center of both my feet, so only my heels and my toes are making contact. So this is how it must feel if you have high arches. All right, very good. All right, great. Okay, the next one we're gonna do is grab that chair. This one could be pretty demanding. So now we're gonna go back and forth, lower body strengthening and the balance one. So. Okay. So this one, if you like, you could grab a weight and put it up here. You could hold it. Okay. And what we're gonna be doing is just going from a sitting motion to a standing motion without using our hands, okay? We're gonna go here. We're just gonna stand. Come back. Then reset, come back. You wanna make sure that you reset. You don't wanna be rocking yourself back into a sitting motion or standing motion. If you're a dumbbell, go ahead and grab it, keep it right in front of you. And you'll notice if you have your feet close together, you'll be using your inner quads more. If you separate them, you'll be using the outer quads a little bit more. So just kind of focus. Only you know maybe where you're a little bit weaker on. I think we got 2 more after this one. All right, okay, now we go with the more challenging one. So this is where we go single leg. Okay, so we're definitely using balance here. And we're using, those of you guys that have flat feet might be at an advantage because of the more surface area. Okay, so for this one, usually how I do it is slightly elevated. And again, it's one leg at a time. If you need to push off with your hands a little bit, that's okay. And if you need to sit back with your hands, that's okay too. So it looks something like this. So hands off to my side. And then, yeah, I bring my foot down there. And then that one I didn't, got a little bit more comfortable with the motion. If you need to put your other foot down to help you, that's okay. But we want to put most of that stress on that single leg that's completely flat on the floor. So yeah, so that first one was tricky for me, but after one, I got comfortable and I kind of adjusted my footing, my technique. Now I know what to do. So don't be afraid if it takes you 1 or 3 or 5, or maybe all of them. But like I said, with practice and consistency, we'll get better. Get some more. Very good, that could be tiresome. So this one is great if you sprain your ankle, if you break a leg, if something happens to that other leg, you could depend on that one leg to lift you up. If you don't practice these, you know, it's hard to say what could happen. We don't want you guys to fall. But of course, you can always use your hands. But again, what if you have a broken arm or something? You know, we could always benefit from just separating that one muscle group. So this is our left leg now. Right leg is slightly elevated. So again, push off. That one went better. And then back. We're doing 10 of these. So far, so good. My left leg's working better than my right now. So try to control yourself on the way down. Don't just collapse into the chair. Make sure that you're softly coming down into it. Because on the way up, we're working our quads. On the way down, we're working our hamstrings. Okay, do 2 more after this one. 1 more. Woo! That one felt easier, but it burned more. Okay. All right, hopefully you guys like that one. That's one that, you know, I think as we age, that's one that we definitely have to do more and more because, like I said, this was one that we would practice a lot at a convalescent home that I was working at. And most of the folks there were late 80s, early 90s. And this was a big movement, pretty much the main movement. That's why I was hired for that class, was for them to just do this. Because if they could do that, then they're out of their bed, they could do a lot of mobility movements. So good, right? So that's one that we'll continue to do, and I'll continue to do for the next 60 years or so. So, all right, now we're gonna go with the tandem stance. We're gonna go with the right foot in front of the left. Okay. Right foot in front of the left. You guys just stand there. I'm gonna check the chat. Hey, Ella. Good to see you. Hello.
Sorry, I can't stay.
No worries. Appreciate you showing up. All right. Well,
Okay.
tomorrow we have a good one. So.
Okay.
All right. Let's see you then. Have a good day. All right. Right foot in front of the left. Okay, now we're gonna look left to right. So now these get a little bit trickier. So now, like on this one, my hind leg, which is my left leg is shaking. Now up and down. So tomorrow, if you don't have any equipment, what you could do today for tomorrow's class is, maybe go buy a water gallon, fill it up, or should be filled with water already, or maybe you have one at home. Maybe you have an empty bottle of detergent, fill that up with water. Because we could do that. We could do those heavy objects that you have to hold with one hand. We could do a lot of squats. All right, let's close our eyes. Again, just if you feel like you're falling, just separate your legs, open your eyes. Don't start hopping around the room. Just open your eyes and then regroup. Open those eyes. Let's grab that small rag. Hold it a few times. Yeah, some of these movements, if you don't do them for a while or you haven't done them ever or in quite some time, don't be surprised even with mobility movements, you will be sore the next day. So and we're gonna stand and drag. On my left heel on the floor and my right toes on the floor. So I think I mentioned this to you folks on my roster for the cross country team. I have a freshman who's 63 years old. He's on my team right now. And the other day he ran a 6:04 mile for me during the workout. So he said that was his fastest run in about 10, 15 years. But what's crazy is that, he's doing all these miles, he's running about 50 miles a week, and he's tired, and, the other 18-year-olds are tired too. But he said what got him the most tired and sore, and then the top off, was, and we've done this one here before, and I'll just show you to demonstrate, was this exercise where we have the chair here, and we do this here, and go back. He said that was the most intense exercise we've done since he started participating. And he said the next day, he said he'd rather go on a 15 or 20 mile run than to do that for 10 minutes again, because the next day he was extremely sore. But again, if you don't use it, you lose it, and he hasn't used those hip flexors in a while. So, all right, we have a bit more, and then we should be done soon. We got 100 pit. All right, so let's set up our yoga mat. I said, this is a down week for us, so nothing too crazy, nothing too heavy. Just all the stuff that's gonna benefit us. All right, Debbie, we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. All right, bye-bye. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stretch out our back a little bit because that is part of our lower body. So we're gonna stretch out our lower back. So this is the quadruped position. So if I ever ask you to get in the quadruped position, this is what I'm asking for. So knees right below your hips, wrists right below your shoulders. Looking down, we're gonna arch our back up, and then we're gonna bring our glutes down to our heels, or back to our heels. Okay. Once you're in this position, you can reach forward with your arms, bringing your face closer to the floor, and we could hang out here for about 30 seconds. And just look down, don't look around, look down, just breathe. Reset. Reset just means go back to that original spot. And from here, we're gonna go ahead and do donkey kicks, okay? So donkey kicks, this is gonna be a glute movement. So we're in this position, and we're gonna bring that knee right behind my glutes, and that foot becomes elevated. Okay, so I'm not extending, I'm not reaching back and forth. I'm just lifting my knee, and the bottom of my foot is up towards the sky, and then back down. And try to keep your head down the entire time. And we're doing 10 of these. Lower is better. You want to be controlled. You don't want to tramp up, pull something. Oh, that's time for me. Let me switch sides. Right here. I'm gonna do that left leg now. So make sure those, oh, like looking at the camera, it's a good way to show me that I was a little bit forward. And again, we want to have our hips right above our knees. So make those adjustments. And then let's bring left leg up. Put that on your hamstring. Some of these we'll do tomorrow as well for our strength and conditioning class. But we'll try to switch it up. 4 more. Very good. Okay. All right. Now, if you have those resistance bands, like the loop ones, the ones that I used earlier, you could use those. Okay. We'll put those right above my knees. And for this one's called a clamshell. So I want to have my heel, top of my heel, knee on top of my knee, hip over hip, shoulder over shoulder, a slight bend, and we're gonna separate the knees, close them, separate, close, And if you don't have the bands, try to separate your legs as much as possible. You kind of hold it at that far position for about 2 seconds before we close the legs again. And we got 10 and switch sides. Ooh. Okay. So just rest the other side and separate. Again, some folks found these bands for about $5 or $6. The one I found on Amazon for 12, I think that one had 5 different bands from extra light to extra heavy. But yeah, these bands are great. Three more. Okay. Okay. Very good. All right, so I think that's good for day 1. We'll cool it down. I don't want to do too much because I don't want to take away from tomorrow's workout. Like I said, tomorrow's workout is strength and conditioning, and tomorrow we will work out the entire body, spending more time in the upper body, but we also do some legs. So I don't want to be too sore for tomorrow either, being our first day. So let's go ahead and just bring your water nearby. Let's get the yoga mats ready. If anyone has any questions, now's a good time to ask. Or we could ask them afterwards. All right. All right, so this was one of my favorites, the cool down. So we'll go ahead and bring left heel in, right leg back. Then you want to lean towards that knee that's in front of us. People feel the stretch in different places, by their hip flexors in the inside part, or by their glute on that knee, on that leg of the knee that's in front. Okay, let's switch it. Vacuum. Starting to cool down, so when I realize sometimes my place is filthy. All right, okay, let's do the performance stretch. So, hybrid stretch. So legs in front of us, right leg comes across, and then your left arm goes over that knee. You're gonna push away. It's August 23rd already. Switch. Got one more month of official summer. It's fall. And then figure four. So reset position, left heel in, right leg forward. And you could reach for those toes if you're trying to stretch out your calves. If you want to stretch out your hamstrings a little bit more, I recommend grabbing on by your ankles and trying to bring your chest down towards your knee or your face towards your knee. And we'll switch. All right, let's bring both our heels in. And thank you everyone again for sticking around and returning and trying it out if it's your first time. And bring those heels in and try to drop those knees off to your side. Let's cross those knees or cross those legs, I'm sorry. And we want to reach forward. Okay, we're gonna stretch out our quads. Almost like the first stretch. Left heel in, right leg back. This time we're gonna lean back. Okay, you should feel that stretch on that right quad right in front of you. And switch. And what I do recommend is after these classes, especially tomorrow's class and Thursday's class, the ones that are a little bit more intense, try to have some protein afterwards, maybe a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. If you have like a protein cookie or maybe a handful of peanuts or cashews. But I said to go with a little bit something cleaner, maybe an egg salad sandwich. So I'm about to go cook my 8 eggs right now. So I'm gonna do that. And the last one, it's another performance stretch. It's similar to the one we did in the chair, but we've done this before, you returners. So this crab walk position, leg comes up. You want to be elevated. You want that glute off the ground. And we want to bring that chest towards our knee. All right, let's switch. Relax. All right, ladies. Appreciate you all. Thank you for joining. I'm gonna stop the recording. If any of you guys have any questions, now's a good time